So when we found out that we were having Paige, I went and did a whole bunch of research after she was born about how am I still going to get breakfast dishes done? How am I going to wash dishes? How am I going to garden? How can I do any of these things? Because now I don't have my hands. And so in my research I found Babywearing. And that just means you have some kind of device that allows you to keep your child on you at all times and hands-free. Now, I went and did a lot of research, looked at them all, and I really wanted one of those kangaroo pouch things. They're like called an ergo, I think, which actually kind of looks like a backpack and has buckles and straps and stuff like that. But I just couldn't, I didn't feel like I could justify the cost without knowing that it was definitively going to work. That there was no chance that this wasn't just going to make me the best mother in the world. And so, what I ended up doing and finding was a Mayan Wrap. And what a Mayan Wrap is it's a long piece of fabric that's about a foot wider than your child is long. And I think it's about 3 yards long, 3 or 4 yards long. And I didn't even have fabric. And so this was the first project that I ever did where I used old sheets. And so what I did is I had an old sheet and I tore it in strips. And it takes about 2 strips to have 4 yards, just about 2 strips. And I found a tutorial online that explained how you make a Mayan Wrap. And what it is in your, if your piece isn't long enough and you're doing something like this with sheets, you need a French seam. So the only thing that's specialized in this is the French seam. So what you do first is you do a straight stitch just across the width. And I'm going to do it in different colored threads so that you can see what I'm doing. You want to be careful in using sheets that you're not using something that's going to be heavy and hot. That's why I think that bed sheets are perfect, because they're kind of worn. So we have our first seam. So now what you're going to do is you're going to turn it inside out. You see that? So you turned it inside out and you're going to fold it back on itself. Like that. And now your stitch is going to take in all of that jagged edge that's on the inside, and so you're just going to do another straight stitch across, just about, so for me it's going to be about an inch down from that fold. Make sure that your seam stays flat, because it's going to try and poof up on you. I don't bother to pin it, but if you like things to be really perfect and pretty, you might want to pin it so that it stays flat. Now I will say that I went in and we had a baby stuff store here in Idaho Falls, and I went in and tried one of their structured wraps, and this was when Kaya was a baby, and I just thought it was going to be fantastic because it had straps. It was easier to get on than my wrap, but what it turned out was that it put a lot of weight on my shoulders. Now this Mayan Wrap, what it will do is it will put all of the weight on your hips, and your shoulders will just kind of be stabilizing things. And so your neck won't get tired. So now what you're going to do, is you're going to fold this seam over. See? I'm not sure how well you can see that. You're going to fold the seam over, and now you're going to straight stitch over the top of this that has been folded over. See that? So there's your flap, and now you're going to stitch it. Now you're going to stitch it to this here. So you're going to flat stitch that down, and that is a French seam. A French seam is extremely strong. It's stronger than the fabric itself. It won't be the seam that gives if something gives in this wrap. And I made one of these for my sister-in-law when her baby was born, and I think I made one for my sister when her first baby was born. I think I did. But I made my sister-in-law a structured one because I had just made a pattern to try one out. And so she got to be my guinea pig, unfortunately, because I definitely prefer a Mayan, which is way simpler. You don't need a pattern. It's just so much simpler to make. I prefer the Mayan. Love the Mayan. Okay, so there's your seam. And that's what it looks like. And that's what it looks like from the other side. And it's really, really sturdy. Of course, you're going to want to look at your fabric, make sure it's not too worn. You don't want to have holes in it that are going to end up, you know, dropping your baby through. I've never had that happen, and I had really big babies. So now you're going to take these edges and you're just going to hem them. So you're going to go and hem them all the way along. So to hem, you're going to take the wrong side and fold it over onto the wrong side just a little bit. And you're going to straight stitch. You're going to straight stitch all the way down, and then once you have all the sides like that, you're going to turn it in again, and that'll give you your edge that isn't raw. So in the end, it'll look like that with a straight stitch down it. Now, if you have a serger, you don't have to do that. You can just serge it, but I don't have a serger. I can't afford a serger. So for those of you out there who can't afford a serger, this is how you hem. This is how you make it have a clean edge. And you can do it by hand. Everything that I just did, I could have done by hand. So don't think that just because you don't have a sewing machine, you can't do these projects. Okay, so this is the way that I liked to use it. I always did a front wrap because unless you have assistance from the child to do a back wrap, it just makes it really hard. So for a front wrap, you put it on before you put your child on because I mean, I guess you could put it on while holding your child to your chest, but it would be difficult. So, middle goes over your belly, crosses in the back, back over your shoulders, crosses in the front, and then goes under. Sorry, I haven't hemmed the sides yet, so that's why it's so messy. Goes underneath this part, and then this is the part where you just tie it in the back. And I haven't done this with the little kid in 3 years, not since Kai was 2. And yet I remember it. It's just muscle memory after a bit. So there you have it. What you're gonna do is you can face the baby out. I didn't do that till they were a little bit older. I preferred to have them facing in. You put a leg on each side of the cross, like this. You open it up and put their little bum in. And you spread it out really nice so it's not going to be anything tight on their little bum. And then you take this one and cover their little feet, and you just pull it up to the point where it covers their little head, and you can go about and do anything. You can garden, you can do dishes, you can nurse, and you can tell if they're breathing. And it's so comfortable. Oh my gosh, I love this wrap. And again, I had a structured one that had the ties and everything, but all of the weight was on those ties on your shoulders, and it was so heavy. And so these are perfect. So I'll show you how to do a back carry now. To hold their head up, you can do a front carry, just like what I did, but you just put them in frontwards. So if you want to do a back carry, you can't pre-wrap it. You have to wrap it with the child on you. So I don't necessarily recommend this with teeny babies. So what you do is, if you have a toddler, you have them jump on. I'll get Kaya.
Might take off my high heels.
Okay, so I need you to hold on to my back. Like a piggyback. Can you hold on to my neck like a piggyback? If she were a smaller child, I would just be holding her little bum right there so she wasn't falling off of me. And that's Kaya. And I could carry her all day in that if I had to. So in an emergency situation, this kind of thing is kind of invaluable. What if you needed to have your hands free for some reason on a hike? Something bad happened and you needed to be able to carry your child out. You know, you can, do you need to move your arms down? You can move your arms down if you need to. So, just put your arms down. We'll show them how strong it is. So with this, it's exceptionally comfortable. You want to make sure and kind of spread it out over your shoulders just a little bit. And it does give you a definite muffin top. You can see it gives me a muffin top. But she's comfy. I'm comfy. I could carry her a long time if I had to. So for an emergency kit, I actually have a wrap in my emergency kit specifically for carrying my children if something happened. What do you think, Kaya?
Wait, where's the go show Paige?
Should we go show Paige? Should we go for a hike?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for a hike. The nice thing is the weight is on your hips, just like in like a pack, a frame pack. The weight is on your hips.